know, like we said, Mr. Damson Idris, Mr. Snowfall himself, Mr. F1, is in talks, evidently. Well, I don't know if in talks is the right word. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, because what basically happened was he went on to, I think it was Good Morning America, right? And in Good Morning America, this young man, Craig Melvin, asked him specifically, yo, have you spoken with Marvel about maybe playing T'Challa? And his answer was yes, no. What does yes, no mean? It wasn't no. It wasn't absolutely not. It wasn't how dare you. It was, and the question is, are we cool with this? Are we gonna rock with this new Damson Idris? I ain't gonna lie, I'm intrigued. I don't think that this is the worst choice in the world. I think that right now, in particular, that Mr. Idris has a unique amount of fame that he could dispose onto our good character, Mr. T'Challa, who I'm representing highly today, all right, in the background as well. So, but how does the rest of the world feel about it? How do the Blerd culture, the Blerd community as a whole, feel about now recasting? Because this was a whole thing before. You got to remember, a lot of folks led the recast T'Challa movement, of which Ant, who hopefully pulls up today, was a leading staunch member of this clique. And I'm really curious as to how some of our guests may feel about it. So let's go ahead and get into our lead today, and let's bring in our guest, Pink Riot. But the lead, as I said, is going to be Mr. Damson Idris. Give me that link. I mean, give me that. Where's my link? Where's my link? There you are. All right, ladies. So, as you all know, good morning, Keisha. How you doing? Hey, we got Keisha in the high. We got Bree in the high. And Miss Bree is still boycotting Last of Us. Hallelujah, as you should. And Keisha's in there. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm tempted to bring up some of the stuff happened off screen, but I ain't gonna do all that right now. What I really want to know is what y'all think about this right here. For those of y'all who are unaware, we are joined live by none other than Pink Riot themselves. Pink Riot, you can catch every single Thursday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, which you'll hear them discuss all kinds of nerd and blerd topics, including what it means to be in your own library, like we see them in every time they pull up. Ladies, it's good to see you all again. I hope all has been well. I'm gonna just dive right into it now. We all have seen this news. This is no longer anything that is, is private. It's out there. And what were your first thoughts? And I'm not gonna lie, this ain't the first time this has been brought up as a potential casting. Are you in it or not? Give me an answer. I'm going to you, Bree, first. Bree, would you be able to see yourself going to a movie to see Damson Idris as T'Challa?
I would say 100% yes.
Hey,
I would want him to like bulk up at some point. Because to me he's a little medium. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Black Panther could have some but also if the way that they're talking about it, like if we're thinking about the ending of the Wakanda Forever movie, the young T'Challa, it's like T'Challa Jr., if you will, I guess. To me, he's like a spot on casting for him aged up. So that makes a lot of sense. And it also makes sense to have someone who is a little younger presenting if they're going to give him an opportunity to get older and then have other movies coming out later. So I think it's a spot on casting. I haven't watched Snowfall, but I have seen he came through to the Met Gala all swagged out and on his Formula One racer bag. And I was like, okay, they're setting him up for Man of Mystery type of vibes. He did his thing, so I could totally see that casting, yeah.
Okay. Keisha,
Yeah.
are
I
we?
mean, I feel
Go
I'm
ahead.
good with it. I think enough time has gone by. I think they did a really good job honoring Chadwick during Wakanda Forever. So it's not like I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Spartacus. Uh
Yo,
yeah,
okay.
like the first season, I mean the first actor, Andy Whitfield, he passed away from cancer as well, but they immediately recasted him. And so,
Right.
there was no recognition of him or whatever. So like the fact that enough time has gone by, there is a deep love and respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with this. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good with this. I saw somebody in the comments say, "What's his African accent look like?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's hear that too."
Yeah. Well, I mean, Daniel Kaluuya, was in Black. I mean, he didn't have that many lines, but I mean, he British too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, if he can do hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can't come around here. You know what I'm saying? With the snowfall. I mean, I don't know. It can't be worse than Denzel's in Gladiator. It wasn't that bad, but
There's also like, because when we seen him as a kid at the end of Wakanda Forever,
right.
his accent was very light, I guess you would say.
Right.
So if you're given the time, like he could have been living anywhere during that time period, which would have smoothed his accent out a bit according to wherever he was. So yeah, I'm not even worried about that piece. I'm like, let's go,
Yeah, because you could explain it away, right? I mean, like Storm
100%.
has an American accent, even though she has Kenyan roots, right? But she's supposedly from New York or whatever. So there's always a way to kind of get that out the way. And let's not sit here and pretend that Wanda didn't start off as a whole, with like a whole Russian, and then by the end of it, she was like, "Hey kids, what do you want from them? What do you want from breakfast?" You know what I'm saying? So look, do whatever you want. There's another very important opinion that I gotta get from none other than the one and only movie blogger himself, who is a staunch member of the Recast T'Challa movement, and he joins us here today. What's going on, Ant?
Hey.
Yo, Ant, so I know you are really, really serious about recasting T'Challa. By the way, introducing you to the Pink Riot podcast. We have Keisha right here, and we've got Miss Bree as well, and they both live in the library. Hallelujah! Just so you, just in case you was unaware. But yeah, man, this is my boy Ant. Ant runs the movie blog, big, huge publication. If you weren't aware, and Ant has always been very, very, very staunch about letting us know that T'Challa should never have had to sit on the bench. There shouldn't have been a Black Panther 2. Now we can all have different opinions. I still think that they was, that T'Challa, was Chadwick, and they was like trying to kind of split, the hairs. But there was a lot of folks that was like, no, it is time. Let us go ahead and get a new T'Challa so we can work it out. And right now it's looking like that may, Anthony, be Damson Idris. Are you cool with that? What say you, friend?
Make it happen. Make it happen. I don't know what's taking so long, but I'm all on board with it. If he's going to be a variant, that would be my preference. If he's little T'Challa grown up, I'll take it too. But yeah, I'm all for it. I saw Damson Idris in the movie F1, and I didn't see Snowfall either, but I did watch F1, and I got to see him a little bit. He seemed capable. And like the rest of y'all, I want to see my man speak Wakandan. He don't necessarily got to have an African accent. If he could pull off like a Haitian accent, throwing some Brooklyn up in there, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Right. Killmonger came through speaking perfect Wakandan, even with his Compton accent or whatever.
Good point.
So
yeah,
I'm down to see it. I'm absolutely down to see it. Like I need to see him look at Namor and just have instant beef. Like,
right. Hold on. You see my grandma? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like we need to. It's time for a vengeance. I mean, the only thing is like, are all? It feels like if your name is Idris and you were in a drug show, and you automatically are destined for fame if you come from Britain. Yes. The last one we saw was a young man by the name of Stringer Bell. I don't know if you recall, gave us these same vibes. I didn't know he was British until I saw him after the show. And so is it is it saying something about American actors? Somebody help me understand. Like these all right, let me say this the right way because I don't want it to come across any way because I love my British counterparts. But I've spoken with some of my British friends as well. It's like British people, I believe, grow up in this environment where they get a chance. They see things happening in the United States. I mean, I don't want to say that, take that wrong. And so they emulate what they see, hip hop, TV shows, this, that, the third. I don't feel like it's the same way in the reverse. I mean, yeah, I love Doctor Who, but I'm not walking around trying to like talk like I'm like, oh, it's a TARDIS, And so I feel like they have an unfair advantage because America's so popular. Am I tripping, Brie? Like, there's so many British actors that could easily come into the American film, but all we got is like, what was the girl who played in the Princess Diaries? And it's like we don't have like crossover actors into the British market like from the American market. Am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping. I feel like we see it a lot more in the reverse, where people from the UK or actors from the UK are able to like. I think part of it is the like American accent or being able to like passively speak as though you're from here is a lot easier to pull off. If I, it's a lot easier to pull off. Like as a reformed extreme Spice Girl fan, listen, the way that I struggled and put in the work trying my damnedest to sound like Scary Spice is actually embarrassing. But it's not an easy thing.
No.
Yeah.
Say something.
Get away with that.
Say something.
You can easily clock an American like trying to do that. But I feel like our, the way that we speak is a lot easier to emulate.
So Bree, when you were trying to sound like when you were doing your best Scary Spice impressions, what did that sound like?
What did it sound like? It sounded fucking great. That's what it sounded like.
No, we would love to hear it.
Because how old was I? I was like, what was that? Like 11, 12? Like living my best life.
I'm sure you remember.
Yeah, you for real ain't go. You ain't go. Come on. Hello, Black. Yeah, so if you wanna be my lover, you always got to.
Whoa, what was that?
That accent, I don't know what that was, but
that was
fake. All right, so if you're going to try to use an accent, you have to turn it on just a little bit, and then give yourself space to smooth it out. Because if you're going too strong, if you're going way too strong, it comes across really offensive and a bit problematic, so you can't do that. Like, okay. It's got a little, but you can tell I'm not from there. Like, it's that simple. Like, you know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie. The way you hold the mug, it definitely gives South London.
It added.
I ain't gonna knock that, man.
Last time, you're not gonna come for me and my mug because it's hella early on the post, okay?
I love the mug. I would never say nothing about it. But nah, man, it's definitely not easy, in my opinion, as we see here, to emulate English accents as well as it is. And also, there's a lot of American accents, and I don't know if it's hard. Like, in England, I don't know if y'all been, but the South Londoners, we don't talk like the country people and all that other stuff. So there's always a whole other thing. But either way, this is definitely happening, and he has some things to say about it.
Ass is the next Black Panther. Have you had any conversations about that? Yes or no?
Yes, no.
By the way, the yes, no means yes.
Could mean no.
No, probably means yes. If they asked, would you say yes?
Yes.
There's some speculation.
So what Ant says is really ringing in my ears right now. The potential for this to be a variant, right? Like, we haven't necessarily explored that. I recall when we were, I don't want to say we, but a lot of folks in the public were clamoring for John Krasinski and his wife Emily Blunt to be Sue Storm and Reed Richards from Fantastic Four because of their images. It kind of like they just look like Sue Storm and Reed Richards. And so what did Marvel do? They gave it to us, right? In a satirical way. In the, I think it was it Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. We got it, but I think that Reed ended up like a spaghetti string and we never got the Emily Blunt. So there's a potential for us to get Damson as Black Panther, but it's just a one-off. So when he says yes, no, that might be 100% true. Yes, I'm Black Panther, but I'm doing a cameo. You're going to see a split, quick image of me in Earth 836, and where I'm T'Challa, the Australian, or I mean, something stupid. You know, hopefully they keep it real with Wakanda, but they can do anything with it. Would that be something? And then if they really want to do it, which seems like what they're going to do with Victor Von Doom, they could be like, okay, we're going to snatch up that Black Panther. Now you belong to Earth 616, homeboy. Will we be okay with that, Keisha? Like, I think that this is an opportunity to fill the void of Chadwick Boseman. Now, we don't want to replace. We cannot replace Chadwick Boseman. His legacy is sealed forever. He gave us the first $1 billion box office movie for a Black superhero, point blank period. Can't nobody take that away from him ever. But can this help fill the void, Keisha? What say you?
I don't want him to. I like the idea of him being a variant. So like if he has a variant and he has his own thing, then I would prefer that more than him coming in 616 in the MCU universe and taking over like Shuri being the current Black Panther, because I still want to see that as well. So yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Let it rock. I'm interested in seeing the creativity that they're gonna come up with to like flesh everything out and keep everybody happy. You know, as happy as everybody can be.
Okay, I'm here for it. I mean, listen, we're already getting evidently Denzel, because Coogler was mentioning that Denzel may be in it, and I think that we can all collectively agree that there is no such thing as a Denzel African accent. Denzel gonna be Brooklyn. Even when he was in Cali doing training day, he was Brooklyn. Yo, that's PCP. Like it's freaking Denzel. But there's another opinion I want to hear about, man. Ed, hold it down, man. Don't go nowhere. None other than the one and only Ty Briggs is in the house to tell us how he might feel about this new casting of T'Challa. So let me go ahead and bring my dog in here, man, and say what he got to say. Yo, reporting live from the golf course is none other than Bad Ty Briggs bringing in that hot vibe. What's going on, homeboy? What say you?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Yo, I woke up to a power outage in the neighborhood, so y'all getting me live from the vehicle. So yeah. What's good though?
Well, we were talking about the potential for Damson Idris. I don't know why I say his name right. To be cast as the next T'Challa. Now, we know that means a lot. That's a mouthful, Ty. Like, cast as the next T'Challa doesn't necessarily mean he's taking Chadwick's place. It doesn't. I mean, he could be Toussaint T'Challa that we saw, who was the son of Nakia in the Black Panther universe that's in cinematic. But my man Ant has said he would like to see him as a variant. Keisha agrees with that as well. Nobody on the panel thus far has opposed the idea, but we have yet to hear from you, my friend. What say you? What do you think about the potential for him to take the Black Panther mantle?
Yeah, I've always thought that if that was the route that they decided to go, as far as recasting T'Challa, that Franklin Saint would be the one that you would want to take over that role. I think he's a great actor. I think this new movie that he's got, that I think debuts next week, F1, is gonna propel him back up into the starlight. I think it's been a while since we saw Snowfall, and some people forget. You know, when you're away for a while, they tend to forget. But anybody that watched Snowfall knows just how phenomenal of an actor Damson Idris is. So I'm all for it. And I do believe that his success on F1 will dictate what version of the Black Panther, if he plays that role, you will see. I think if he has the star performance that I think he will have in F1, opposite of Brad Pitt, I think they'll have no choice. Marvel does this all the time. They like they will capitalize off your momentum. So I think right now it's fair. I'm with and it I would be okay with him being a variant. But again, if he has this strong, Oscar performance in F1, I would not be surprised if they just be like, look, we finally listened to the fans. We're gonna recast T'Challa. So we'll just see how it works out. But I think whichever direction they go, you can't go wrong with this dude.
Yeah, I think he's pretty. I think that the thing that I noticed is that you don't get as soon as you bring up Damson's name, it's not like bringing up Ace from Paid in Full, like an Ace from Paid in Full. No, what I'm saying? We love Ace, but he probably could have did it maybe but Damson seems to be that guy right now, especially with the spotlight hitting this way. Even with the Brad Pitt, because Brad Pitt done had some controversies, and what I'm saying, like right now, I think that him being associated with Damson is helping Brad Pitt. If you could ever think about something like that, because I don't know if y'all know, but Angelina Jolie took kids away, and they yelled at them on the plane. Brad Pitt evidently is not a great father. Stoner, yes. Father, no. But we'll leave that for speculation. So I don't know. The thing that I'm also thinking about is he even introduced in a Black Panther movie? Like we're talking about, this could be a Secret Wars introduction. This could be a Doomsday Avengers introduction. There's a whole lot of different ways they can go. And if I know Marvel, they'll introduce him one way and then continue going on with him some other way in the future. So I don't know, man. Now you, like I said, have been the strongest voice in our circle with regard to recasting T'Challa. If you had any say in their writer's room, if you were there, you're at the table, they're putting together the sheets for Black Panther 3 or introducing this new Black Panther version, variant, whatever you want to call them. What do you think would be necessary to make sure that the legacy of not only Black Panther, T'Challa, even Chadwick, if you want to throw that in there, to make sure that it is represented appropriately? What you think?
So Marvel's always had an uphill battle of trying to separate the character of T'Challa away from the actor of Chadwick. And because the public at large just doesn't know them differently than that, it's been a really big challenge for Marvel. I think the biggest thing that they need to accomplish is continue to establish that the multiverse doesn't erase your legacy characters. Just because you bring in a new version of the character doesn't mean the old version of the character goes away. I think that they're seeing more evidence that general audiences are getting more okay with that. Miles Morales has done a lot for it, right? Miles Morales just going out here, making Academy Award nominated movies left and right, and wearing the name Spider-Man across the marquee does a lot for Marvel to feel comfortable with handing over the title to a new character. So Marvel just needs to continue to do that. They just need to keep going down that route of letting Damson Idris version, whether he's a young T'Challa or a variant, establish his own legacy. Maybe give it a message the way Miles does, because I'm gonna do it my own way kind of thing, and run with it. They could easily make a marketing thing out of this. This is not hard. This is an easy billion on the table again.
Yeah, I see it that way too. One question I have for y'all is this: are we oversaturating the market with the live action? I just, at the recommendation of my homeboy, who's in the Pittsburgh Steelers stuff at the bottom of the screen, I got a chance to check out this thing called Predator, the animated version. This updated joint on Hulu. I don't know if y'all seen it. And I gotta say, this shit right here, nigga. Like this shit right here. Like, there is no pulling of any punches within the first 5 minutes. Heads rolling. And I mean, like, there's no pulling of any punches. The reason I ask you this is because we saw the success of all of the Spider-Verses, right? And we're still building on that. We still got Across the Spider-Verse coming. All right, and I know Brand New Day is coming and Spider-Man. I mean, I'm a Spider-Man guy. But is there a possibility that we may be missing an opportunity to capitalize on an animated Wakanda universe? Like, I feel like we can go there. Please, come on, Keish.
Aren't they doing the Eyes of Wakanda? Isn't that coming out like this summer? So we're gonna have that. But I grew up loving DC animated movies, like, and Marvel animated movies. Like that was how I was introduced to Hulk with Planet Hulk, I think. And then Doctor Strange, like that animated movie, like really got me into Doctor Strange and like understanding his lore. I personally love the animated movies more than live actions, but that's just me just loving cartoons in general.
I get it.
I really do want more, but I think a lot of animated stuff, I don't know, not enough people give it a chance. Like outside of the Blerd community, I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just saying like they probably don't see the value in it, unfortunately, which is doing a real service to the stories.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because right now I still think that there's a lot of folks that still look at animated stuff as kid stuff. What's up, Ty?
I was just going to say, to kind of piggyback off that, I think the real problem is the lack of continuity between the animation and the live action. What made Killer of Killers better is the fact that they did have a level of continuity in it. If you paid attention to the end of the movie and who was in the tanks, and you know what I'm referencing, or do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't get that far, but hallelujah, I trust you.
Okay. Well, if you saw Prey, which was the live action representation of one of the properties in the Predator alien universe, it kind of has like a somewhat of a continuation from that storyline, and I think if the animated creators connect those universes with the live action, I think you kind of get people more invested in the storylines. I think the problem lies when you have a totally different story that has nothing to do with the live action, doesn't connect in any way, and then you have two totally different audiences watching those things, and then Keisha's point is absolutely taken into consideration, because at that point you only have this demographic that's interested in the animated version of it, who maybe is not so into the live action, or vice versa. And I think a lot more studios can take notes from this Killer of Killers, to where you can have both. You don't have to have either or. You can have both.
Yeah. Like I mean, they're literally doing it with Spider-Man. Literally. I mean, I know it's a whole Sony Marvel Studios, but they're literally doing it. You have Holland, live action. At the same time, you got Miles Morales. All right, and it's almost like in tandem, just like you said, Ty. I feel like they're building off of the excitement. Marvel Studios is building off the excitement that Sonyo. Okay, how much did I smoke this morning? Like, I can't get words together. Like, I'm about to start talking like in a British accent, like I was the Spice Girls fan of it. Hello, cheerio. So I just feel like there's an ample opportunity here, and I think that's also something that DC is at, to kind of quote Keisha, because Keisha, I noticed that you had, and hopefully we can touch on your Mr. Terrific read this week. I hope you don't mind that. But this is showing what DC is doing different that may be actually working, because one thing, we could talk about how bad DC's live action content was on big screen. Now, I disagree with regard to their little screen stuff. Penguin, immaculate, in my opinion. Watchmen, immaculate, my opinion. We can keep going, but Dark Knight Rises, maybe not as much. The Batman, maybe not as much. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's an opportunity here to get it right using animation as the glue between the pages that are written and drawn and what's actually casted on screen. I mean, Bree, I just feel like you would feel the same way, especially with Mr. Terrific now being in this upcoming Superman movie, which I believe drops next month. And you already have a preconceived notion specifically as how Mr. Terrific probably should be. And if I know you, Keisha, which I don't, if I know you, Keisha, you probably like, all right, now I like the book. So when this movie come out, you know what I'm saying? It better have some semblance of how much I like the book. For those that don't know, real quick, let me drop this on you real quick because Bree, and then Ty, you ain't off the hook, homeboy. I hope you did watch One Piece the first season as we agreed upon, as these young ladies did do their homework, and they is here ready and willing to dispouse. Yes, sir. So you ain't off man hook, brother. But yeah, I do want to at least show y'all what the homie Keisha said with regard to her experience reading
Mr. Terrific #1. It's written by Al Letson. His art is done by Valentine Delandro and Marissa Louise. Wow. If we can connect this story to what's currently happening in Memphis with Elon Musk and the data centers, with the, all those turbines kicking out all that methane, similar situations is happening in this Terrific issue #1. The main character, if you don't know Mr. Terrific, the main character, Michael, in this run, his wife and child has died, and he's like depressed severely. He sold his company to this other company called Athena Tech, and that is the company that is creating all this havoc in the community. And you see him go through this process of finally waking up and realizing that he made the bad decision to sell to this company, and now he's like on this path to correct it, but then something happens at the very end. The artwork was interesting. Like, the line work was heavier than what I'm used to, but all in all, great. I can't wait to see what happens in this and how we can use this to then, help people understand what's currently happening in not just Memphis, but multiple Black communities. I just finished.
Could you, if you don't mind, expounding on that a little bit, Miss Keisha? It's very, very, very well said. But give us a little more, because that was a short clip, man. Delve, give us the full.
Honestly, so I've known of Mr. Terrific. He shows up in a couple of the DC animated movies, but I didn't really know his lore like that. And so this is the first run that I'm reading and getting to know him as an individual. Like I said, I really enjoyed this comic. The way I read stories in general, no matter the medium, is really just connecting it to our world and how we can, critique what we go through as Black folks under oppressive systems. And so Mr. Terrific is a great example of that, currently, just seeing how this man who has all of this power, all of this money, how is he going to fix something that is going on that is negatively impacting the Black community? So yeah, so far it is absolutely great. I can't speak for how he's going to be in the movies. I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to try. But I think it's easier to do it for this one because like I said, I'm going in with, this is my first time experiencing him. So I guess I'm going to get both versions of him at the same time. So we'll see which one, wins in the end.
Did you ladies watch the Arrowverse by chance? Did y'all tune into? Did you see how'd you feel about the depiction of
Oh, I don't. Okay, so that's a later season. I went up to season 3, when they started going into different. They did something weird, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm out." He looks interesting.
Yeah,
2015 Arrow. It's an interesting look. I prefer the Superman.
Bree, hold on, what's his face? Look at Bree's face. What Bree in an English accent? Can you tell us how you feel about what you're seeing here right now?
You know, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not a fan. So, no, it's not that.
I was trying to be nice.
No.
Okay, we have officially launched Bree Spice. Everybody, we will now refer to her as Pink Spice. Okay, hallelujah. All right, and yeah, that's what we're gonna make you a whole baseball card, and it's gonna have all of your everything like that. That's real cool. Yeah, I didn't like. I don't want to say I didn't like it, but I feel like this upcoming version of Mr. Terrific is probably going to do fans a lot better, especially because we get the arc of redemption, right? Like we all recall when old boy was an X-Man, right? And he didn't get his just due, and he just kind of evaporated. You know what I'm saying? Like they just disappearing, brothers. And so now
he's angry about that because that made zero sense with his power set.
Okay, explain. Give it. Talk to the.
There's no way that character should have died in the way that he did in that movie if he had any of his powers from any of the comics. That was the dumbest thing ever. I hate it so much. Make it go away.
I mean, the fact that he was gone so quickly, and we was kind of excited when we saw Black X-Men. You know, we're like, oh, wow, okay. And I mean, you know, because the hues ain't always been on point. So here's one where they got the hue right. It happened, but I feel like he himself is also getting excited about the possibility that he'll be able to finally have a different representation of superhero-dom as opposed to what it is that he got. As for the depiction, Bree, Keisha specifically, since you said you read the comic, what do you think about the way that they're making them look in the movie?
Solid. I mean, yeah, I'm not against that. It's solid. It's better than the Arrowverse, definitely.
Way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keisha's more open in her comic reading. I'm more women of color in comics. I was like, yeah, you tell me what you think about that, and I might buy it if you liked it, but I'm not getting it.
Okay, for the average fan, and then we'll move on real quick. And ladies, check out the private chat when you can. For the average fan, can you just give us an idea of what to expect from Mr. Terrific for the fan who doesn't even know what his powers set are or what his background is? For those who haven't read anything, just if you could just clue them in, and then we'll see where we go.
I mean, isn't he, from what I read off of that first issue, like he's like a black Batman? You know, he has a lot of money. I mean, he has a lot of money. He's using it to better his community. I wouldn't say I prefer him more than Batman, because Batman kind of comes off a particular way for me. He comes off spoiled in a way, or just not understanding the real big picture. But yeah, I would say he has a ton of money. He's not like
He also has above normal intellect. That's the only thing that I know
very
about.
Intelligent.
Yeah, when you're talking about like smartest people in like comic universes, his name is pretty high up there.
Yeah,
but that's all I know about. I don't read Mr. Terrific books.
And his morals are fairly solid. Like, you know, he's not gonna like off some. I haven't seen him do that.
Does his money come from a trust fund? Is he in the books just a legacy rich man? Does he have a startup? Is he Madam CJ Walker in the
I think it's a startup.
Madam CJ Walker,
right? I think it's a startup, and just the type of products he sold, like the type of inventions that he sold. Because in that issue 1, he is working with another character on creating some new tech that helps with his friend being able to be like a better, more available, what is it called? Gym, private, somebody working out. I don't know why. Maybe I haven't been to the gym too often.
What?
But yeah, he's creating all these different like inventions and stuff. So yeah, just very smart with a lot of money, and he's using it for good.
Are Black people sleeping on Mr. Terrific?
Yes. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you think?
And this issue is being written by a Black person, because that's another gripe of mine, where you have Black characters written by everybody else in the world. You know, you want to have that story, especially that story that is impacting the Black community. You want it written by somebody with that lived experience. So I would definitely say read Terrific #1, Mr. Terrific. Read that run, definitely. And watch this movie. I'm interested in seeing how he's portrayed here.